Bird Gang. Lots of moves to be made. Waiting to see if we keep QB1, trade QB1, release QB1, and if we do release him, we're going to make some cap moves here because that cap is going to take a massive shot if we get rid of Kyler Murray here just with a cut, just like a regular release. But it's going to be cuts, maybe some trades, who knows? And some of these names, man, they're going to be tough cuts to swallow. Let's get it, Bird Gang. Welcome back to Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law, and I got you when it comes to Cardinals news, talk, rumors, reports, and more. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Scan that QR code and use code word footballfan, all one word. Football's over. But we still got NBA, MLB's right on the corner. Everything else is going on. Do not miss out. Come hang out with me on Underdog. If you're already part of the squad, I appreciate you for riding with us. And if you're new here, go hit that sub button right now. Hit it right now. All right, it really helps out the channel. And the more we grow, the better content we can bring you guys every single day. Again, huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy, Bird Gang. All right, Cards fans, the new league year is almost here, and you know what that means. Cuts, trades, cap casualties, and hard decisions. And we're currently projected to have about $39 million in cap space or so, and it's solid. But if we want to be aggressive, if we want to reshape this roster instead of tweaking it, there's a lot more money we could absolutely create. And that means some pretty tough conversations. Now, that is if we trade Kyler, okay? So let's talk about that first. If we trade Kyler before his $17 million roster bonus hits on March 15th, we free up about $34 million in cap space. Yes, we take on $17 million in dead money, but that's way better than what it would be, which is like $54 million, something like that if we cut him. So we probably don't want to do that. Trade obviously is the preference. I do not care at this point what we get back. We are not trying to get a premium package there for Kyler Murray anymore. We're probably going to get like a 4th rounder or something like that, but fine. The whole point, we're probably going to have to give like a 6th rounder or 7th rounder, maybe even a 5th rounder, which would suck. We're going to get back maybe like a 4th, if we're incredibly lucky, like a 3rd. And we're still going to have to eat some of his contract. But at least it won't be $54 million in dead cap for the next season. So that's what I'm talking about here. But it's a franchise-defining decision, all right? Because that would mean resetting at quarterback, obviously. Because it doesn't look like we're going to rebuild around him at all, in my opinion. Even if we keep him, we're not going to rebuild around him. It would immediately give us flexibility to attack free agency in a major way. So let's start off here. Sean Murphy-Bunting. This one's pretty obvious. I mean, he missed the entire season. He counts about $9.2 million against the cap. And of course, cutting him saves us over $7 million. That's business. Injuries happen. If you're not available, that number is hard to justify. Bilal Nichols, similar situation. Limited availability, over $7.8 million cap hit. Cutting him saves us about $6 million or so. If we're serious about upgrading defensive line, he's going to be one guy that goes. He's again, limited availability. We cannot have, look, the best ability is availability. I hate that cliche ass saying, but it's true. Now this one hurts. This one hurts right in the gut. James Conner has been the emotional leader of this team. Easily one of, if not the most respected player on this team, one of the most respected players in this league. Losing him would suck big time. He runs hard. He plays through pain. He represents the grit that we want on this team, but he's turning 31 years old. Coming off a season-ending ankle injury, and it looked nasty. You guys saw it. That was nasty. One of the nastiest injuries I've seen in a long time. We don't even know if he's going to be able to come back. Let's be real. If you saw it go down, it was bad. And being on the wrong side of 30 as a running back, it's quite possible he's already seen his best days on the field already. And he carries a $10 million cap hit. We save about 7.5 by moving on. It sucks, right? Because we owe him plenty. But if we're thinking long-term roster sustainability, and running back is often where the hard decisions get made anyway. And there's plenty of guys who can pick up. Trey Benson's in the wings, waiting to be a starter and everything. Bam Knight showed a lot of promise. And Marty Mercado's still one of the fastest guys on this team. Just hang on to the ball, dog. Come on now. But cutting James Conner is more than likely. I think it's going to happen, personally. But either way. All right, Akeem Davis-Gaither. Limited role, nearly $6.7 million cap hit. Save about $5 if we cut him. If we're reshaping the linebacker room, which I believe we're going to end up doing, this could be part of that recalibration. And Davis is going to be one of those guys that has to go. Dalvin Tomlinson is going to be a tough one. It's a little complicated. He was a big signing for us, but 13 tackles and 1 sack in 17 games. That does not justify a $16.2 million cap hit. If we cut him before June 1st, we save $9.4 million. If we designate him post June 1st, we save $14.5 million. The question is whether we believe he rebounds or we pivot quickly and reallocate those resources elsewhere. I think this is one of those moves that's going to suck, but you kind of have to do. Save all that money, bring in some young talent. Again, we're not going to the championship next season. We're not winning the Lombardi next season. We don't even know we have a quarterback next season. Baron Browning. Now, Browning signed a 2-year deal, but 2 sacks is not enough. He carries about $9.4 million cap hit, cutting him before March 15th. Saves us about $6.7 million. It was nice when we traded for him. He came in and gave us a spark, but clearly didn't live up to that 2-year deal. Zaven Collins has flashed at times, but consistency is not his thing at all. He counts for about $6.1 million. We tip about $4.35 or so million by moving on. And it would be a full defensive reset anyway in the front 7, right? If we send him on his way. I don't think he's gonna get cut. I don't think his cap hit is that big, or we don't save that much. And he showed flashes. And now we can keep developing him, especially with whoever comes in and to coach that D-line, might work out. All right, these two are kind of weird because I'm like, okay, cool, but the other one, not so much. Evan Brown and Hijate Froholt. Both could free up about $5 million each. If we're looking to upgrade protection, especially if we're making a quarterback decision, we may choose to reinvest that money in higher end interior help. Or at least younger, but more development, someone we can develop. That makes any sense? Because O-line, the trenches matter. We need to fix the O-line. If we're building for 2026 and beyond, protection is foundational. That's got to be some kind of rhyme somewhere. All right, someone hit up Wu-Tang. Let me know if they ever said that. Froholt, though, he's not the best center in the NFL, but he did rank 14th last season in Pro Football Focus rankings. He's a solid center, and really, unless we do something big like go after Tyler Linderbaum from the Ravens, which I highly doubt we're gonna do, because that guy's gonna be like $20 million a year easily in cost. Replacing Froholt is gonna be really, really difficult. We could realistically push our cap space north of about $70 million, depending on how aggressive we get. Right? That gives us a lot of flexibility. It would allow us to attack premium free agents, absorb contracts and trades, front load deals, build depth instead of patching the holes. But it also means admitting that certain signings don't work and getting rid of some guys that we have a lot of emotional investment into, like a James Conner. So, do we double down on this core, or do we pivot aggressively? The money's there. The flexibility, it's there. Now it comes down to vision. What does Monty want to do with this team? What does Coach LaFleur, Coach Mike LaFleur, Coach Milf want to do? What is his vision for this roster? He has to be involved in this. He's going to be coaching those guys. If we want to compete in the NFC West, the next 30 days could define the direction for this franchise the next 5 years. Let's put it that way. And that's why this cap conversation is not boring. It's pivotal. Like, it's actually interesting. I hate math. I can't do it. I was a journalism major. I graduated from a journalism degree. Clearly, I didn't want to do math. But this one was interesting for me. All right. Back to my NFL draft series, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm going a little early because I have a harder hitting subject here. And for my last segment, do not go away. It's a solid one, and actually one that I want to hear from you guys about. But this one's a bit of a tough one because I don't think this guy's going to be there in round 2. And I think he goes either mid to late first. So if we get him, it's either because we trade down, he's available, or we get aggressive and we trade back into the first round. Let me explain. All right, let's go with that. All right, we've seen weird stuff happen before in the draft, for sure. Now, you all know I am all in on drafting either Miami's Francis Maigoa or Utah Spencer Fano with that 3rd overall pick. We got to get the bookend tackles going. But I want to continue investing in that O-line as we need to continue stacking those trenches. So today, I'm talking about, and I'm going to butcher this dude's name, right? Olaibabega Ione from Penn State. Let's start with the obvious physical traits. Ione checks an elite offensive line mold. 6'4", roughly 330 pounds. A size profile that instantly upgrades any interior line. He's not just big. This kid can move for his size. Now, draft profiles won't show off, like flashy 40-yard dashes, right, for linemen. That's not going to happen. But his measured weight and anchor strength put him in the top tier of guard prospects for a Cardinals offense that needs to, the interior push in the run game, a mauler in the middle, and a protector against A-gap pressure. He fits that prototype very, very well. He's not a project. Ione has been a consistent starter for a powerhouse Penn State line, totaling 44 career games, a level of experience many prospects don't reach before the draft. His playing time, it's quality. He had a lot of it, but it was all quality. Consistent starts at left guard, thousands of snaps in both pass protection and run blocking, experience playing against elite college competition. That kind of background translates to early NFL contributions for sure. Right, so he's not going to be a slow developmental curve for him. He's going to be one of those guys you bring in, you teach him the protection schemes and all that, and let him go. Now, he's going to have some headaches for sure. He's going to be a rookie, right? But I don't think it's going to take very long before he looks like a veteran, honestly. Scouting reports highlight 2 things that we are definitely going to love from this guy. pass protection IQ. He excels at reading stunts and twists, a kind of interior blitz recognition that keeps quarterbacks clean on crucial downs and alive, which we haven't had in a live quarterback in forever. Run game violence is one of my favorite things about this kid. His hand strength and anchor force defenders backwards, controlling the point of attack instead of just absorbing a hit. When scouts say grip strength borders on unfair, that's legit. It's acknowledging his ability to dictate contact rather than react to it. In a division loaded with disruptive interior rushers, I mean, think Nick Bosa, think Leonard Floyd, right? That helps a lot. Now, one of the reasons I own his draft stock is climbing is his ability to play multiple interior spots. He can guard, you can play guard or slide inside if needed. For us, that would be working because our O-line's always beat up and busted and broken. You plug him in at guard day one. You shift him to center if the draft opens that door. Use him as a versatile chess piece in multiple blocking schemes. That kind of flexibility, get him on that O-line, baby. That's a franchise offensive line. Still finding his identity. He could absolutely help mold what we want to do on that O-line. We must protect whoever the quarterback's going to be. Interior pressure kills drives faster than any edge blitz. I can't even speak today. I'm sorry, guys. His strength and pass sets, combined with his run blocking nastiness, buys time to develop rhythm in Coach Mills' offense, quicker reads and checkdowns, play action setups that open up the entire field. And we're going to have some killers on the wide receivers for sure. I'm telling you right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to blow up this season. Michael Wilson is going to keep that going. And I think we're going to get somebody else to come help at wide receiver for sure, in my opinion. So draft boards obviously are highlighting him as a consensus top guard in 2026. And if multiple analysts are grouping him at the top of the interior class, it's a consensus you could actually kind of take to the bank at that point, I think. Interior offensive line talent like Ione doesn't hit free agency very often. The reason when those guys get drafted, they get signed to long-term contracts because they're that good. We shouldn't ask, should we pick him? We should ask, can we afford not to? If he's there later on the first, if we're able to draft, pick him up. If it gets crazy and somehow he falls to the second round, there's going to be a crazy amount of teams trying to trade back up into the early second round to get him. It's going to open things up. Now, does Monty have the guts and Bid will have the guts and intestinal fortitude and basically the balls to do it? We'll find out. I don't think so, but we'll find out. To build a contender, you don't start with a shiny receiver or a bling at pass rusher. You got to build those trenches. I'm going to say it till I turn blue in the face. You start with protection. The power in the trenches. Ione gives us exactly that. He's a top-tier offensive lineman. He's a day one starter, and he's exactly the type of foundational piece this roster needs. And if he's on the board when we pick, especially in the second round, because I don't think he's going to go. I don't think we'll take number 3. But if we're able to get trade back in, it'd be great. It's just one of those things where I was doing a mock draft of my own, and he fell to the second round for some reason. You guys know how those mock draft simulators go, and I was like, boom, and that gave me the idea. Now, is it going to happen? Unlikely. I don't think Monty and I know Monty doesn't have the stones, and Bill doesn't have the stomach to deal with that kind of what it would take to get back in and get him and Maigoa or Fano. It'd be great to get 2 high-level, linemen in the draft. It just would be. It would also be awesome to win on Underdog. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get on all the action. Playing on Underdog, easy. Just pick whether your favorite players go higher or lower on stats, like points, rebounds, and steals, and more. You get picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Today on Underdog, I'm looking at the NBA. Give me Thursday nights, Suns Spurs showdown. Give me Booker to go higher than 25 points in the game with Dillon Brooks out do the suspension because he earns a 16 technical foul. Dillon, damn it, why? Come on, you're like our second best player on the team easily. And give me Victor Wembanyama to go higher than 25 points as he continues to be dominant on the floor. That guy wants to drop 80 on everybody if he can. Download the app today and use promo code FootballFan to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FootballFan, all one word. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8 or text from 467-369.
So this one came out of nowhere. Arizona sports reporter John Gambadoro broke this one yesterday. Our quarterback situation takes another turn, and while it's interesting, I'm not sure much is going to come out of it. But it's interesting. It's honestly a name I hadn't thought of. It's a move I had not thought of at all. At all. Okay? Think about it. Kyler Murray, likely trade or release candidate. Please trade. Jacoby Brissett, veteran bridge, maybe even a trade piece depending on what we do with Kyler Murray. Keaton Slovis, depth, insurance, just a body, nothing more. We don't want him to start ever. That's not stability That's uncertainty at the quarterback position. But now, a new name has entered the rumor mill. Chicago's Tyson Bagent. If we move on from Kyler, and I guarantee, I already know I screwed up his last name. Sorry, folks, I don't even know, but I'm going to go with Tyson. If we move on from Kyler, we are officially starting over at quarterback. In fact, we could already say we already did start at quarterback because there's no way we keep him. If we don't land a top rookie, which we're not going to, if we don't swing a massive trade for Joe Burrow, then we're looking at options that are either developmental, bridge players, or guys who should be starters but are stashed away as backups. That is where Tyson comes in. He gets really interesting here. He's not an exciting guy, but very interesting. Tyson is a former undrafted free agent who beat out P.J. Walker in Chicago and earned himself a 2-year extension worth $10 million. You don't give a backup that kind of extension if you don't believe he can actually get you some wins as a backup coming in for a starter. But let's be real about the production here. 4 starts, 2-2 record, 859 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 picks, a couple rushing scores. Not franchise quarterback stuff, but you can develop, you can work with that. You can use that as a game manager and find out what you have at quarterback with him. If we trade for him, we got to figure out, is he going to be a competition? Is he a bridge? Is he a developmental starter? Is he depth behind a rookie, whoever we end up getting? Or is he maybe a starter in front of him? Should we trade Jacoby and Kyler, whatever reason they're not on team, and we draft a rookie? You could put this kid in as a starter and roll. If he's brought in to compete in camp, though, while we draft someone that's different, but if he's simply a high-end backup with upside, it's the safest interpretation. But trading for him, you can't trade for this kid and not play him. Plain and simple. His extension kicks in this season. That means if we trade for him, we're absorbing roughly $10 million over 2 years. For a quarterback who has limited production, it's not crippling money, but it still hurts just a little bit, right? If we're taking that on, we got to believe that he's going to fit Coach Mills' system, that he processes well, that he's coachable, that he can grow. Because you don't trade draft assets or any assets for a quarterback to stash him. Does he fit Coach Mills' offense? LaFleur's system values quick processing, timing, play action efficiency, structured decision-making. Bagent is not a freelancer. He's not a chaos creator. He needs the structure. He plays well within structure. And that actually aligns with what LaFleur likely wants. But the ceiling is unknown. And we're trading for, you got to wonder, we're trading for a hidden gem. Or we're trading for a backup who briefly flashed in emergency starts. That's the fact, the fact that this rumor is even circulating tells us something, that we're at least exploring it. We're not locked in. No one's locked in on anything, but we're evaluating every possible avenue. And that means we don't currently have our quarterback answer just yet. If we did, we wouldn't even talk about this, right? If we move on from Kyler, which I believe we will, and don't have a top draft pick locked into a quarterback, we may need multiple bites at the apple. We're talking a veteran, a rookie, a developmental trade target, and I think Tyson could be one of those guys. But if we're honest, he shouldn't be the only layer. We are in a transition at quarterback, and it's the most dangerous place to be in the NFL. Trading for Tyson Bagent wouldn't be a franchise-altering move. It would be a strategic depth move with upside. If he's a primary plan, it's risk for sure. In this league, you either have the quarterback or you're down. You're either winning or you're not. Right now, we're clearly still looking and losing. So the real question isn't whether he's intriguing. It's whether he's going to be part of a bigger plan here. Whether the Coach Mills and the offensive coordinator, Hackett and the team and Monty and Mike, well, forget Mike, but at least Monty and the team, believe he could be a guy that could get us through the next 5-6 years maybe. Or at least to the next season. Who knows? Like, we're definitely drafting a quarterback in 2027. There's no doubt about that. I think everyone's going to be drafting a quarterback next year. That's a way better class than this year for sure. So, hold your breath, folks. Who knows what's going to happen here? I hope we don't have to give up too much. I don't think that, I see a lot of Bears fans going, no, don't trade him. Now, keep in mind, because remember, Andy Reid, when he was the head coach with the Eagles, he sold us Kevin Cobb. And that was a terrible trade. The guy couldn't even stay on the field. And when he was trash. Plain and simple. So hopefully we're not being sold, being sold some garbage and all cleaned up and shined up and everything. It's nice, come trade for him. Who knows? Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law. Don't forget to hit that sub, hit the bell, hit the like, leave a comment. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Please scan that QR code and sign up using Football Fan. All one word is your code. It really helps out the channel. Folks, I appreciate some of you all were following me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and saw that it was my birthday yesterday. I appreciate all the birthday messages. You guys are dope for that. I appreciate y'all so much. For 40 years old hurts a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. I love 40. I don't care. I'm still young. I don't care. I'm still moving really well. So either way. All right, Bird Gang. I rock with y'all till the wheels fall off. Go Cardinals.